Welcome to Childcare Rockstar Radio. I am your host, Kris Murray. Childcare leaders around the globe are breaking through challenges, leading the way in innovation, testing new best practices, and impacting children and families in a much more powerful and positive way than ever before. Each week, join me for interviews with early childhood leaders and experts that will leave you inspired to become the next childcare rockstar. Now, let's go. This is Childcare Rockstar Radio, episode 141, featuring Lisa Nichols. Welcome back. I am so excited to see you again and have you join me again. My name is Kris, and I can't wait to share with you my guest today, Miss Lisa Nichols. Oh, what an incredible woman. Many of you got to see Lisa live as our keynote main stage speaker. She was the leading keynote of our Nashville Childcare Success Summit 2022 just a couple months ago, and she literally brought the house down. For those of you that missed it, I know you're going to get a ton out of this episode and just love what Lisa brings to this world, just like the rest of us. And I also really hope that you will join us next year at our Summit 2023 in Orlando. More about that later. So today's episode with Lisa Nichols is one of the highlights of my year, to be able to spend a good 45 minutes with her, talking with her about her life and her journey and where she has grown from and the person that she has become and the journey of her becoming. And she talks a lot about where she started and the people that she followed or just that she dove into. She's a deep learner and will dive into the world's greatest humans to learn about them and soak them in so that she can further her capacity to lead, to love, to inspire, to motivate, and to live her best life so she can help you live yours. Her brand, her company is called Motivating the Masses. And she really has the energy and the spirit and the drive of that inspiring motivational piece, perhaps more than any woman I've ever met in my life. And I feel very grateful to bring her to you today. Before we dive in, I want to thank and share with you some information about a couple of friends that are making this podcast possible. Our first friend is Kangaroo Time. And Kangaroo Time is an amazing software technology platform. They empower deeper connections and insights within and across your business. With a more holistic childcare management system, you'll have the visibility necessary to make more informed decisions that will increase the efficiency and effectiveness of your business. From classroom automation to robust parent engagement and more, Kangaroo Time partners with you on the road to success. They were founded by my friend Scott Wayman and friends based in Buffalo, New York, and they want you to come visit their website so you can learn more, and they can help you grow and improve your business and make it easier on you to run and make parents delighted with the level of service that they get. So check them out at kangarootime.com. Our second friend on today's podcast that I would like to thank is CCEI Childcare Education Institute. They would like to know if you have set your New Year's resolutions yet. If you're anything like me, chances are that at least one or two professional development goals made the list for next year. And so thankfully, our friends at CCEI are making it easy for you to knock those goals out quickly, whether you're looking to brush up on classroom management skills or complete a certification. CCEI makes earning professional development hours fun and convenient. If you listened to the podcast before, you have heard me rave about CCEI, and that's partially because you can complete their courses 24/7 from any device, and you can earn IACET CEUs at no additional cost. And everybody needs to get their CEU hours in, right? The best part is because you're a Childcare Rockstar Radio listener, you can earn your self-study CDA for just $499, and that's 40% off CCEI's self-study CDA program. So to get started, simply visit cceionline.com today and enter code SSCDA23 at checkout. That's SS like Sam, CDA 23 at checkout. This offer is only good for the month of January. So pop on over to cceionline.com to get started before January 31st. And I don't want you to miss out. So thank you so much, CCEI. So this podcast episode is one of the best that I've ever recorded with the amazing Lisa Nichols. She's here to inspire you. We talk about major influences in her life and her history. We talk about her journey and all of the pieces that she has learned along the way, the 3 or 4 key pieces that have elevated her into a leader that empowers her people, and how she has dealt with mindset issues. And everybody in the human experience experiences breakdowns, right? And crap, for lack of a better word, and having triumphs over tragedy, and or attempting to have that, and so many obstacles that we face every single day. And so she talks about her obstacles, and she talks about how she's overcome those and what tools she has used in her journey that you can use as well. Also, the power of mentorship and the power of being in groups where you can learn from and rise along with, and what she's up to now, what she's reading and listening to, and how she stays inspired as a leader that keeps sharpening her own saw. All that and much, much more here on the podcast at Childcare Rockstar Radio. And let's dive in. Let's go. Enjoy it. Welcome back to the podcast. I am so grateful that you are here, most especially for this one right here. This episode is a special one because I'm bringing you today an amazing woman who joined us recently in person. And now I'm so grateful to bring her to the podcast for y'all, Miss Lisa Nichols. Lisa, how are you?
I'm wonderful, Kris. I'm so excited to be with you again.
Absolutely. Me as well. So where are you right now, Lisa?
I am in my, for many years, my first favorite place in the world, now my second. I'm in Los Angeles, California at my dad's house, being his holiday elf and making sure his home is decorated for Christmas. I live in the Bahamas, and I moved there 42 days before the pandemic started. So I was on lockdown in paradise. And so I come home to visit my family for the holiday.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful, wonderful. So you really captured the hearts of our audience at the Childcare Success Summit just about 2 months ago in Nashville. And I wanted to bring you on today to further that impact with our early childhood leaders and owners that you touch so deeply. And I just want to first thank you for showing up in a way. When I came back on stage at the end of your talk, I was celebrating you as, I feel, the most powerful speaker that we've ever had, who touched the hearts and minds of the audience more deeply than we've ever had any other speaker. And we've had a lot of amazing speakers, the great Les Brown and so many others. And you really, Lisa, people are still talking about your talk. That's how impactful it was. So I first wanted just to thank you, celebrate you, and honor you for that experience, because it was incredible.
It was my honor. And I matched, you gave me a charge. You said, help them get back up and fight, help them, and I took that on. And I'm excited about this interview because early child care providers have been instrumental in my life and in my growth. And so I came as a partner and creation with you, but I came as a mom first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your history, the highlights of your journey, anything that you feel is calling you right now or relevant to share with the audience, early days of when Lisa was looking for, how she was going to make a bigger impact in the world, and how did you come to where you are today?
Yeah. So I first have to say that my journey to any level of prayerfully, any gratefulness, any greatness that you see, it felt like it was a long discovery road for me to find this version of Lisa. Um, I I was talking to my nephew yesterday, one of my favorite pastimes, and he's 21, and he sees me where I am today. So he doesn't know about the journey to get to her. And so often I have to remind him, and I found myself reminding him yesterday that I was fired from 5 jobs in my 20s, that I was the person that had a lot of talent that was hard to point out. Like it was it was hard to kind of, this is where you will flourish. It was just, I was personable, I was loving, I was gregarious, I was energetic, I had all that, but I got fired from 5 different jobs in my 20s because there wasn't one thing that stood out. So the journey to this version of me came riddled with a lot of questions, riddled with a lot of kind words, a lot of people letting me know I had potential, but I didn't know what that meant for my now moment. Now, I found out when I was 25 that I am functionally dyslexic. So I see words flipped. It still happens. People say, "Oh, that can't be the case now." It is the case now. I've just learned how to manage it. And you just learn how to manage
Yeah.
your challenges or your dysfunctions or your opportunities or whatever you want to call them. And so I found that out when I was 25. And I struggled with self-esteem. The world didn't look as if it loved a woman who had kinky hair, full lips, round hips, and dark chocolate skin. So I didn't see myself as beautiful anywhere. I didn't see myself as attractive or desiring in any form. And so I struggled on multiple planes. When I was 28, I decided I wanted to inspire people. I got the courage to say it out loud and share it with someone when I was 31. I figured out how to do it by the time I was 40.
Yeah.
And so it was a journey. And I'm a mom. Most people lead with the fact that I'm a single mom. I really didn't wear the word single, Kris, a lot in front of the type of mother I was because it didn't decide how I mothered. So I didn't even realize that I just kept saying I'm a mom of a son. And people say, "You're a single mom." And I remember deciding at one point, I said, I don't know if I want to take on I'm a single mom the way you're saying it, because it makes it feel as if it's a burden or it's a sentence. And I don't know if my son's father not being in his life is a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a good thing. I just don't know. So I'd rather just be neutral with it and say, I'm a mom. I'm doing the journey on my own. This is my assignment. This is what I've been dealt. I don't know if it's a burden. I just know that I want to raise this young man with the most opportunity. My son was a part of my driving factor, a large part, but he wasn't solely my part. As a mother, I got creative. Childcare and early childcare was, and I'll talk about that a little later, but it was a major part of me being able to explore.
Yeah. So when you were 40 and you started developing and coming into your own and feeling the power that was within you after, and I agree with you about the person you are versus your earlier Lisa, the Kris now versus the earlier me, because throughout all of this, I have evolved to really become a different person than I was in my 20s and 30s and 40s. So for folks listening, I think Lisa and I share that, we share that in common. I didn't start my business until I was 42. And I think part of the essence is you can, along your journey, you can take little pieces of things you're learning and fold them in to become things that are going to serve you as an entrepreneur, leader, business owner, what have you, throughout your journey. So that would be one takeaway for me, is just, having.
I pull on everything. I pull on the fact that I was a customer service clerk.
Yeah.
I pull on that
Exactly.
as a CEO. I pull on the fact that I did retail sales. I mean, I sold clothes on an ongoing basis. I was an interior designer. I pull on that when I'm setting up my stage now. I was
Yeah.
collections. I was horrible at collections. I got fired from 3 collection jobs. But now I know what it feels like to be able to meet someone where they are and ask them how can they honor their agreement that they made with you. Like
Yeah.
I pull on everything. So you're absolutely right, Kris.
Yeah, and my weirdest job was door-to-door sales of huge rainbow vacuum systems. So if that's not something to pull on, I don't know what is, because that was a very challenging job. I didn't do it very long, but I pull on that, which is how to build relationships and engage and build rapport with people that you would like to sell something to, and
And
sales.
make and don't make and don't make no means that you're not good enough. Make no means
Yeah,
not a right fit right now for them.
exactly. Exactly. I love that. So, who were the major mentors, influences, people that inspired you to start becoming this Lisa that we see today? Major influences in your life?
Yeah, when I get asked this question, I always want to give you an answer of someone who taught business or someone who, like, I feel like I should say like a Elon Musk or I should say like a Richard Branson. But the reality is for me in my journey, and I don't know whether I started this knowing I would end up being a businesswoman of an international or global business. I don't know, but I know that I kept studying Nelson Mandela. And I wanted to understand his level of forgiveness. And I knew exactly why I
Mm,
studied certain people. And I studied Dr. Martin Luther King because I wanted to understand how could he turn a moment into a movement. And I studied Mother Teresa because I wanted to know how can she spend so little time focusing on the media attention she's getting and all of her time focusing on, ending world hunger. And yet the media picked her up and she lives in our hearts today. I studied
right.
I studied Mahatma Gandhi because Mahatma Gandhi was about focusing on being the conversation that you're having. And so I was like, I call myself an eclectic piece of work. I'm like a mutt, right? People go, who's the person? I said, it's not a person. It's like a board of people. It's like a committee of people. I'm an eclectic piece of work. I'm a mutt. I'm little pieces of Cesar Chavez. I'm little pieces of Mother Teresa. I'm little pieces of Dr. Maya Angelou. Dr. Maya Angelou taught me that words were my tool and that I didn't have to follow any lexicon guideline, that Webster is just a recommendation. That I get to create words and create phrases, and there's no rule, that I get to create my rule. Words are my keyboard, and I'm Alicia Keys, and so I picked up things from different people and I let myself just go after that and grow that. Just go after that and grow that. But also, Kris, because of my learning style with my dyslexia, I go deep on a topic, deep on a knowing until I got it. I don't learn wide, I learn deep.
Deep.
So when I was chewing on Mother Teresa, I mean, I chewed on Mother Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
I engulfed her, and then I moved to Mahatma Gandhi.
Mm-hmm.
So that by the time I finished that phase, I felt I work to embody things. I don't work to be informed. I work to embody. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. It's extremely powerful. And I love that. Your current primary business or brand is motivating the masses today. What are you doing in this work, this mission that you're putting out to the world? What are some of the main things that you're trying to do with your clients and with people that are working with you, just to give more information
Yeah.
to the audience that don't know you as much?
Yes, thank you for asking that.
Sure.
So I'm a big believer of giving yourself permission to own your voice. And for some, my specialty is helping them to discover their voice. Like I wouldn't help you discover your voice. You've already discovered your voice. What I would help you to do is how to hone it, how to own the power of it, and then how to elevate its power. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that we are most powerful when we say the words we need to say, even when our voice shakes. Right. And so I want to empower as many people as possible to speak your truth in a powerful and riveting way, even if and when your voice might shake. And
Mm-hmm.
so my mission is to really turn ordinary conversations into extraordinary change makers. And people think that I work with speakers. I don't work with speakers. I work with individuals who know they are designed to lead. And I help them lead with a powerful voice. And that's my jam. Now, I do transformation. I've been doing transformational work, helping people to push past their limiting beliefs, how to turn their breakdowns into breakthroughs, how to really stand on top of their story, not in their story. I do all of that with people. So it's transformation on your way to owning your voice. Does that make sense?
Nice. Yes, absolutely. I love that. So I wanted to ask you about the things that you did. You became on this path. You were in your early 40s. You were finding yourself, finding your voice. What were things that you did to build your team and to leverage your success? Once you started to get a little bit of traction, how did you push that cart and just make it go?
Okay, so let's just always stay fully transparent, Lisa.
Yes.
Before I pushed that cart, I was drugged by the cart. The cart's wheels were broke.
Yep.
I thought the cart had wheels, but it was really just wood running down the street. It was so many different things that had to do with not doing it right, because I had the passion. I didn't have the training. I had the passion. I didn't have the skill set. I had the passion. I didn't initially have the team. I was what I call ignorance on fire. I got the passion award, but that was about it. So let me just say that. I needed to say that. I spent a lot of money wrong. I worked really, really, really hard before I learned how to work really, really smart.
Yes.
I didn't understand how to leverage other talents. I thought that it was my idea. It had to be my execution. I had to be willing to relinquish and go into control freak recovery.
Yep.
And so, and so I just want to state that so that that's all out there, because I have a phenomenal team today. I have a world-class team. We grow double digits every year. My business blows my mind, but it did not start here. I had to navigate here. Now, I do think that a business owner's journey now doesn't have to be as long from confusion to clarity as mine was, because people like you and I are out there, and we should be leaving clues. We should be giving people access to the journey so that we can shave some time off your learning curve, save you time, save you money, and save you stress. So I do believe that everyone has to go through that journey. I don't think they need to go through it as long as you or I may have had to do.
Yes.
And so that corner turn, number one, when I stopped hiring people because I wanted to fit the person in my company, I started hiring people because I wanted to fill an executable role.
Yes.
That was very different. I stopped trying to make the person fit the role because I was trying to have the person. I fully developed the role, and then I went and found
the right person to fit. Yes.
The role. So that was a key turning point for me. Another turning point for me was, instead of hiring people that were smarter than me so that I can kind of stand behind them and feel more secure in my role as CEO, I went and I did the personal development work that I needed to do to elevate my life. I went and I did the personal development work I needed to do to give myself permission to be a CEO and to lead a company. I stopped using other people to band-aid my insecurities. That was another big turning point. And then the third and last, though there's so many major turning points, but I'll do the 3 buckets, is I began to heal my relationship with money.
Yes.
I learned how to first I discovered that I needed a healing. I didn't know that I needed a healing around money. I was raised in thrive and survive. I was raised in make a dime, a dollar go in 10 different directions. I was raised the way my beautiful mom and dad and grandmother raised me. I didn't know that in order for me to go past a certain ceiling, whether that's a 6-figure ceiling or a 7-figure ceiling, or maybe an 8-figure ceiling, that I needed to do some healing around my mindset with money. When I began to do that, and I found someone or a community that was 10 to 20 steps ahead of me as it relates to money, as it relates to leadership, as it relates to personal development. And I was a leader while I was a student.
Yeah, I love all three of those components. I have done the same type of journey, also early days, doing all the jobs.
Yes.
There's a benefit to doing all the jobs, which is
all
that
the jobs.
Yeah, that's right. So
now you can lead,
exactly.
but you got to let go.
Right. And the other thing I find with folks that we coach is they get stuck in their perfectionism. And we're teaching them 80-20. We're teaching them that 80% is good enough. And because nobody's going to do it as well as you're going to do it, because you're the CEO, the owner, the founder, right? But you have to be willing. If you're not willing to accept 80% and not do perfectionism, you're going to still be the one doing all the jobs and be completely exhausted at the end of the day. So there's no other choice.
I got this really great advice when I was 26 years old, and I still laugh at the fact that I can remember it, but I can't remember my son's social security number. But at 26, I was blessed enough to have someone in my circle that I actually wasn't even crazy about, Kris. I didn't really even like her. Like, she didn't come across as a nice person, but this woman kept dropping these little nuggets to me, right? And she was really crass and brass how she did it, which is probably why. And so she probably didn't even know I was listening, right? I was 26 and I decided I didn't like her. She said, Lisa, you always have to be out in front of the parade because you want to control where it's going. She said, but great leaders design the path of the parade, design the path of where the parade is going, empower other people to lead the parade. Then they can sit on the sideline with a bag of popcorn and watch the parade as it go by because they know where it's going to end up. She said, come back to me when you understand what I just said. Which is why I didn't like her. She would always end it with a little jab, but I something told me, put that in my back pocket. Something told me, don't get in your ego, Lisa. This woman is trying to pour into you. When I tell you I'm so grateful that she was willing to not be liked by me in the moment to teach me something that I would absolutely live by in the future. So grateful for that piece of information. And to any business owner, I say, don't lead the parade, design the route of the parade, sit on the sideline and watch and make sure your people have everything they need. Because here's what I realized, my employees, their customer are, in your cases, their customers are the parents and the kids. But my employees, my team, they're my customer. Yeah. And so I spend my day seeing what do they need to do their job more efficiently. I was just in a meeting with one of my team leads, and I was using this new keypad called the Remarkable, right? You can write on it, you turn it to text. And she leaped. She's like, oh my God, I've been wanting to get that. But it's not fiscally responsible for me to get that. And she's talking. And so the next day I let her use mine. And she's moving, and literally within 20 minutes, she learns, 8 techniques that I don't even know on the machine.
Right.
Before the end of that day, I had a Remarkable going to her house. Yeah. Because my job is to see what would make you more efficient at the job, and then to get that hurdle out of your way.
Yes.
So that's a great leadership. And then to realize you don't have to be Kobe Bryant or you don't have to be Michael Jordan. Your job is to be Phil Jackson, their coach.
Yes. So we just came back from our 2-day leadership retreat where we plan our coming year. And we did a unique brilliance exercise, which is defining what is your zone of genius, your superpower, and so I was trying to empower, first of all, get my people, my leaders to understand what it is and really reconnect with their zone of genius and write it down and all the things. And then we as leaders need to try to empower our people to stay working in their zone of genius and make it more efficient with cool tools like the Remarkable, et cetera. But you're right, Lisa, no matter where, we're going to apply this to the world of childcare in the next question, but no matter where a leader sits, no matter what the industry, if you just focus on empowering your people and do exactly what you said about the parade, you're going to do amazing things. And you're going to be, and you're going to take the load off of you because your people will be empowered.
Yeah. But here's a key thing in empowering your people. And I'll say, and then let you lead us to our next delicious part of our interview together. That one of the best things I think I learned how to do was give my team the freedom to fail. And what I would say to them is, you can make not 1,000 mistakes. We can bounce back. Just don't keep making the same mistakes 999 times. Bring me new, forward-moving errors.
Right.
Be forward moving failure. We can fail, but fail forward.
Fail forward.
Fail
Yeah.
forward. Fail because we didn't expect those many people to show up. Fail because we didn't realize, like, give me. And so one of the things, and I say this because this is the biggest feedback I've gotten from my team, is they're grateful that I let them know that the repercussions to an error doesn't mean that they're banished from the community. It doesn't mean that they get sanctioned heavily. Yes, we need to course correct. Yes, I have to hold you accountable. Yes, but I will do so keeping your dignity intact. Do so trusting that when we get up, not if, when we get up, we'll pull every lesson with us that we need to, so we don't have that error again. And so that was a big thing that I didn't even know I was doing. My staff gave me feedback. You make it safe for us to make mistakes.
That's huge. And I think every leader listening to this session is going to, or this episode is going to be writing these down fast and furiously. So that's just powerful. With regard to specifically early childhood, early child care leaders, many of whom you met, we had the longest line of any summit ever for your photo op.
Oh my God.
It went all the way around the hotel, like, to up the escalator, and it was crazy.
We did a video. If you ever want to see it, we got a video of that line making noise, because I didn't know the line was that long, because I'm at the front of the line taking the pictures. But when I looked at the line later, I went, and we sent it back to our team. They were like, oh my God, it was fun. It was fun.
It was awesome.
I love it.
Yeah, so you were loving on people left and right, and this is the work of taking care of our babies. And 90% of our group is female, and they do get in their heads about their own level of confidence to be a strong leader, to be an empathetic, open, transparent, vulnerable leader. They get very afraid to be vulnerable.
Yes.
Because people have taken advantage of them. People have mistreated them, whether it's, parents who are dealing with their own set of drama and trauma, or if it's employees. And so they start putting this wall up. And so we're trying to invite them to be vulnerable and be authentic, but also still be confident and still be doing these practices around leadership. So any thoughts of advice, any words of wisdom to our group?
I know a little something about that, first of all.
Yeah.
And our humanity comes to work with us. Our humanity, our desires, our passion, our hurts, our chasms, our breakdowns, our unmet expectations, they all come with us in every room. And so, number one, let that truth exist so that you're not projecting any of that stuff inside of a work relationship, right? There is no concept, leave home at home and work at work, because I'm the person that lives in both. And if my son is sick and I'm coming to work, you better believe a part of me as a mother is with my son, wherever he is trying to heal. And so understanding that we're humans, and I'm always managing my tendency to be codependent. I'm always managing her. She wants to rescue everyone. She makes your problem her problem. That's who I am. I'm not declaring that to stay in that behavior. I'm honoring it, acknowledging it, so that I can manage that behavior.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I do, and it doesn't discount me as a leader. So we both are dropping. I just did mine. Don't worry.
I just dropped my pen. Thank you for saying that.
I did my phone. I did my phone.
The microphone.
I did my phone. My phone is still down there. So
okay,
I know now we're sister matching.
Yeah, we are. Okay,
we're sister matching, which is perfect, because the part that I'm on right now is let's manage our imperfections.
Exactly. It was perfectly timed for what you're saying right now. Okay.
Thank you very much, Kris. Thank you very much. And so, number one, I'm going to have this overarching statement. Don't make your future pay for your past. So often our future is paying for our past. Our now is paying for our yesterday or our last year. Someone hurt you last year, so the person that's standing in front of you, he never gets to see the true you. Like there's love in your space, but it doesn't have any space in, because you filled it with distrust. You filled it with walls. You filled it with a declaration that you can't trust men, or you can't trust women, or you can't trust whatever. And so don't let your future pay for your past. And I don't say this from a teacher's perspective only, though I do coach on this. And I'm going to share with you a way where you can work on it. Because remember, you can only take yourself as far as you've taken yourself. And there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, can you take me further? That's the smartest thing that you could do. When I was on Oprah in 2007, Kris, and Oprah asked me on an interview, on a commercial, she said, Lisa, how many coaches do you have? I said, 2. She said, oh, okay. And of course, you know what I wanted to ask her, but I was too scared, right?
Yes.
On the next commercial break, I finally had the courage to ask her. I said, Oprah, how many coaches do you have? She said, 4. She said, every area of my life that matters to me, I get someone further than me to help me go further than I've taken myself.
Wow.
And I left the Oprah show knowing, 1, I was on the right track, and 2, what you think? I'm gonna go get me 2 more coaches.
Right.
And so I recommend you, leader, woman leader, man leader, I recommend you have someone or something. I learn from video programs because I can play them over and over and over again when I'm on planes. I learned some of my best lessons this year from watching someone's video who I had decided I wanted to learn from. And I watch and take notes and watch and take notes, or whether you want to learn from them live. I'm an executive coach, so I coach leaders live because then we have this relationship, right? And so be willing to say, sis, I've taken myself with all my greatness and all that I've achieved. I've taken myself to this point. Now I want to hook my caboose to someone else's train, and I want to go to the next best version of myself. That's one of the best things you can do. Kris, you are where you are because you're smart enough to say, I want to learn from people who are doing something, whatever that something is, they're doing it the way I want to do it. And so I watch you learn. I watch the way. That's how you grow. And so I say to her, don't let your hurt make the decision. Make your decisions based on logic and fact. Write this down. Make your decisions based on logic and fact versus emotion and longing. I'll say it again. Make your most important decisions, and both in family and in business, based on logic and fact versus longing and emotion. Allow longing and emotion to be in the car, but don't allow longing and emotion to drive the car.
Yes. Very, very profound. And I can't agree with you more. I'm following along with you going, let me see now. How many coaches do I have? I've got 2 coaches and I'm in 2 business mastermind groups. So really 4 professional development things going on. So we're right there. We're tracking with Oprah. Look at us.
Listen, I walked away saying all I got to do is just echo what she does. Something worked over there.
Totally. Oh my goodness. I love that. Speaking of sharpening your saw and I was going to ask you earlier when you were talking about leadership, what are you listening to, watching, if anything that you would share with us that you just find super yummy right now with regard to any aspect of your life?
Yes. So, I'm in a different place right now where so I love autobiographies. So I find people that are colorful. I'm attracted to people who are a bit of a rebel. So I like when people play in color outside of the lines.
Yes.
I don't believe that we get to play outside of the box. I don't believe we have a box.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to disrupt the concept that we have a box.
Yes.
Whether it's a religious box, a financial box, a culture box, like you can't define me because I'm a Black woman from Los Angeles, growing up in a Baptist family. You can't define me and don't restrict me to any of those things. I'm a human being with mixed emotions and colors and flavors. And I want to keep discovering who I am. I'm a gladiator. I'm a soul searcher. I'm a gentle soul. I'm a rebel. I'm a warrior queen. I'm all of that. And so I find myself being drawn to autobiographies of people who just they don't look for the path. They grab the hatchet saw and they cut down the path, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
Recently, when I was on my first vacation with my new husband, I read Viola Davis's autobiography.
I was going to just say that. I just got done with it.
I got chills when I just said her name.
Yes, I did too.
And I tell you, the first page was insane.
Totally. Like, right. Just boom. The first paragraph.
I was like, I think I got a massive girl crush right now. And I
Yes.
had one. So I like to read autobiographies. Of course, before that, I read Michelle Obama's. I love the concept of becoming,
Hmm.
because becoming gives us permission, Kris, to be brilliant, but not have arrived.
Yes.
And when the former first lady and who she is in the world and who she has been to her husband and who she's been to her children can say, I'm still becoming, right? It felt so good to my soul. And so I find myself reading autobiographies. I also read books that aren't developed yet, but I read autobiographies and I gather information on interesting people.
Hmm.
And I keep gathering all their, like they don't have a book, but I'll pull all their information together. And I just become a studier of a person. A lot of them are no names and people don't know them, but they move me and they inspire me by how they walk the world. One of my favorite books that continues to shape my life, I read for the first time when I was 25. I've read it 6 times. And every time I read it, I highlight it in another color so I could see what I missed the previous time. And that is still 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by
Yes.
Stephen Covey, one of the best books on the planet. And if it seems a little challenging, because it could feel a little daunting, his book can be a little heavy. I think the book I enjoyed more than 7 Habits of Highly Effective People was 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. That broke it down. It made it really simple for me. And I was able to really implement more when I read it in that form. And then the last book that I'll share with you is a book by a good friend of mine that not many people know, but I think I've probably gotten well over maybe 4,000 to 6,000 people to buy this book because it's done so much in my life. And that's called Intellectual Foreplay.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, most people haven't. It's the best kept secret. Intellectual Foreplay by Eve Hogan, Eve Hogan, Hogan. And intellectual foreplay has been my godsend. It has been my go-to. It's how I connect with people and other humans, whether it's my son, whether it's my now husband. It's the book that allowed my husband and I, when we were dating, to find something to talk about so that we can get to see each other, not just know each other, but see each other. And so it's one of my favorite books, and I always recommend the people that I love to it.
Well, that is fantastic. And I also admire you on the personal side. It sounds like you've found romance in your life again, because you haven't been married. You guys are newlyweds, right?
I'm married for the first time at 55.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, for many reasons. I can make it all sound sexy. And the reality is there was a large part of that where I was clear of what I wanted to feel when I said I do. It wasn't the first time I've ever been proposed to, but I wouldn't compromise saying yes until I had the feeling that I felt was real for me. And I
Yeah.
was okay over and above age and over and above people's perception and over and above that, I was committed to my feeling.
Hmm.
My grandmother says other people's perception of you, baby, ain't none of your business. And other people's perception of you ain't none of your business. And so I really had to divorce myself from other people's perception of me. The other thing that I had to do was I had to give myself permission to have failed miserably in previous relationships
Yes.
and still give myself permission to have unexplainable love. I had to do both.
Yes.
I had to own my breakdown. But in owning my breakdown, I had to give myself permission to stand on that breakdown, not in that breakdown. And most of us who are not moving forward, who say we can't trust, you don't know if you can trust something in your future. It hasn't happened yet. But if you're saying now, I can't trust, that's because you're looking back in the rearview mirror and you're not trusting your future based on your past. I had to look in the rearview mirror, Kris, own my past, and then say, but my past does not equal my future. I still deserve. And it was scary because I've never done anything just for love. I'm sneaky. If I date someone, let me just be honest, girl. If I date somebody in a different state or even a different country, I would organize business in that state or country because I can.
Right.
Like I'm not saying my life is the best, but I live a world-class life. If I want to go somewhere, I just reach out to anybody in that area who wanted me to keynote at some point.
Sure.
So I needed to really trust myself in just love. And so I refused to organize any business in the Bahamas. I just needed to trust myself.
Just make it about love.
Girl, when I tell you knees knocking and teeth chattering, imagine Lisa Nichols stuttering all the time.
Right.
And kept giving myself permission. And so give yourself permission, no matter what your past looks like, whether it's with money. I had to give myself permission to trust myself with a lot of money again when I lost a lot of money. I had made a lot of money, but I had lost more.
Yep. Whew. I don't know where to take it from here other than just to say, I'm so grateful for you.
You can just say amen.
Amen. Amen. I love it. I mean, I would say, like preach or whatever, but I don't want to go. But this is church. I feel like every time
I tell people all the time, I'm not preaching.
Yeah.
This is truth. But truth has a cellular energy to it.
Yes.
And that cellular energy is what we attach to, and we don't know what to say, whether we say amen, whether we say preach, whether we say you go girl, whether we're speechless.
Yes.
Because true truth, unadulterated, when you're not trying to defend, you're not trying to hide, you're not trying to prove, and you're not trying to protect. You're just being. Very few of us are just being without trying to prove, protect, hide, or defend anything. And man, when you hit that place, I always say it's like in your shakunda. It's like it goes down somewhere and you get the chills.
Yes.
And then you go, I don't know if there's a word for what I feel right now.
And it doesn't have to be, because you're present with your truth and with those chills, and you're just enjoying and you're just being and you're feeling it. It's just feeling it.
Yeah,
so
that deliciousness. And what I know is that when I sit in my truth, no matter how beautiful or how messy, my choice speaks louder than my words. And our job as leaders is to be a living, breathing example of giving our imperfection permission to touch this beautiful experience called life, to make a beautiful outcome, no matter how it started, to forgive the perceivingly unforgivable, to love the perceivingly unlovable, to give ourselves 1,000 second chances. Like the you that you're becoming, if you could see her and or him, would blow your mind. The you're becoming, when you're willing to lean in, to let the imperfection find its beautiful joy of some perfect moment. Like I blow my mind all the time when I look back and go, man, with all of that, this is who I've become.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Anyway, I get excited about it. So don't mind.
I love this so much. Thank you so much for being here. I believe you have a gift for our listeners. How can they learn more about you? And is there anything that they should go do now?
So I'm really big on learning how to quantum leap my life. I've always been a leaper. I'm a gazelle. And I want to start where I am and learn, how do I go to the next best version of myself? Like, how do I touch her? How do I access her? And so I'm real big on giving people the tools. Now I say only get my free gift. I got something that is in complete alignment with this conversation. If you're hungry for the action steps, I'm not just on the theory.
Right.
The antidote to despair is action.
Yep.
And the prescription for success is action. So I have a webinar. It's called the Quantum Leap webinar, and it's free. And in that webinar, I actually give you tools to do right then. How do you recognize your fullest level of possibility and potential? How do you re-energize yourself? If you've navigated through some rough terrain and it's time to become tonka time, we know about that. How do you step into that next reset? How do you do that? How do you identify the next best version of yourself, and how do you tap into it? If that's something you want to do, I give you some techniques, I give you some action steps. You learn with some brilliant people. I think one of the most important things you do when you attend this webinar is that you attend with like-minded gladiators. I think one of the best things I did, Kris, was I introduced myself to a new community of like-minded gladiators who have become some of my oldest and dearest friends.
Yes.
And so you know about that.
Absolutely.
When you run with gladiators, you run as fast as gladiators.
Mm-hmm.
When you run with the stallions, you become a stallion, or you come to the next level. So if you go to Motivating the Masses, and we'll put it in the link here, motivatingthemasses.com, motivatingthemasses.com/leap.
Excellent.
LEAP. And join me in the webinar. Allow me to teach you. Allow me to be your coach in that moment. And all we want to do is coach your next level of greatness. If you would allow me to, I'd love to be the midwife to the next best version of you, like someone was for me.
Lisa Nichols, you are amazing. I am so grateful to know you and to have spent time with you in person. And today, just a joy. Thanks for bringing joy to our audience. And I just appreciate you. I'm so grateful. So thank you.
Sister. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for bringing this conversation to this group of people because, like I said earlier, and I'll just close with this, I needed a safe place for my baby while I put my dream together. Yeah. I needed to know that he was okay during the day while I designed our future. And I still to this day know my child care providers when my son was 2 and 3 and 4, and he's turning 28 at the time of recording this. And so you are leaving an indelible print on someone's heart and a moment in their life. And on behalf of every parent that trusts you with their dream, their desire, their heart, their children, while they go build the future dream, on behalf of all of them, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sister.
Bye-bye, everybody. Take care and God bless. We'll see you next time. I hope you liked this episode of Childcare Rockstar Radio. If you did, please share it with someone you know and help spread the word to your friends in our industry and on social media. Childcare business success is my passion, and I am honored to be on this journey with you. As a thank you for listening, learn more about how to grow your business and make more income with our brand new free quiz, the What's My Number One Income Killer quiz, exclusively for preschool and childcare owners. Take the quiz today at childcarequiz.com to discover what your number one income killer is and how to solve it. Take care and God bless.